Welcome to Revelation Unraveled. I'm your host, William Tapley, also known as the third eagle of the apocalypse and the co-prophet of these end times. Aside from all the madness in American politics, I want to take a little break. I'm sure Donald Trump has everything firmly in control because he has prophesied in Isaiah 45. And I want to switch my attention to the Youth Synod taking place in Rome, and I believe it will conclude this weekend. I'm sure the Pope will say a concluding Mass. And what I am afraid is that we will find a lot of hidden sexual symbolism. Now, Michael Voris did a program this morning saying that he believes they will drop the term LGBT from their final document. Well, I certainly hope so. But that doesn't mean that the Pope won't wear a cross at Mass, a rainbow cross. I don't know if you saw pictures of that or not, but it really is disgusting. The Pope should not be promoting the rainbow flag agenda, but look at him at Mass this weekend and see if he does. Now, I want to show you what a true cross is like, and I'm showing you this because it shows that a cross does not have to be plain. It can be glorified, it can be made in gold, it can be beveled, it can be decorated even, but it must retain its essential character of being straight and hard-edged. Some people say a cross is a phallic symbol. That's completely false. This is the opposite of a phallic symbol. It crosses out a phallic symbol. Pagan cultures always devolve into worshiping the phallic and worshiping sexual images. And that is what we see coming out of the Catholic Church a great deal these days. And now here's an example of the Pope carrying a perverted cross. And this is not so much phallic except for that wavy crosspiece. A true cross represents the divine Trinity. That crosspiece is curved and wavy, and it represents yin-yang, a pagan concept that good and evil are two sides of the same coin. Now, when the church devolves into paganism, as it has, then you will get this kind of a cross. This is phallic. This shows two phallics crossing each other, and you can tell by the curve, you can tell by the shape, you can tell by the perversion. At the final Mass, concluding Mass for this week's Synod of Youth, look for that type of image at the concluding of the Youth Synod. Now I want to show you a type of image of a phallic worship. And this is really an old-time image from St. John Cantius Church in Chicago. And it's been there a long time, and maybe people have never noticed this before. But see what you think. And I'll give you a close-up. Isn't that a phallus protruding from the bishop's cassock? Isn't that what the servant girl is worshiping? Now, I know some of you will say I'm stretching, but I'm not. That's exactly what this is. And I'll show you what the original painting. Now, this has been adopted as a logo by a group that wants to restore liturgical art, which I would agree with. But this is not the way you do it. Now, supposedly, this is a picture that St. John Cantius healed or fixed for a serving girl who had dropped it. It's evidently an old story. But I think you can see what the artist was getting at, and he pulled the wool over the eyes of the patrons in the church. And let me show you what this, the original painting looks like. I think I have it here. And maybe this is in color. And this is not quite so obvious, so maybe it's only the person who made that logo that emphasized the characteristics. But this picture is not a picture, the broken picture. And I want to show you how paganism devolves in art, has devolved in the Catholic Church, and it devolves in all pagan religions. And that is, it worships a twisted trinity. And I've shown you this before. This is the flower display at the canonization of the two popes. This was about 1.5 years ago. And what this shows, and if I put it upside down, because that's the way the people looked at it, you have two horns at the bottom. That's the masculine, two males, and it's supposed to symbolize God the Father and Son, with an oval, feminine shape in the center. That is what I call the logo of the one world religion. And this is taken from Hathor, the cow goddess. The Egyptians were very adept. They were very much under the control of Satan. And the Catholic Church has adopted Hathor, the cow goddess. That's the two horns of the cow. This is the feminine shape in the middle. And let me show you how this is expressed in the one world government. And that's the symbol of the United Nations. This is basically Hathor, the cow goddess. The two horns are as leaves, supposedly leaves of peace, and the feminine shape is the world. But nonetheless, that's the one world government is adopting the same image as the one world religion. Now I want to show you a crozier that Pope Francis used, and this was just recently. And what he is carrying here is called a witch's stang. And believe it or not, this is also devolved from Hathor, the cow goddess. And let me show you this, what it looks like up close. And this is about as far from a true cross as you can get. As I say, it's called a witch's stang. Look for the Pope carrying this at the concluding Mass for the Youth Synod. He may very well want to carry that to show how up-to-date he is and how modern. In fact, it's actually very old. And when they make a witch's stang out of metal, this is what it looks like. Does that look familiar? That's the same old Hathor, the cow goddess. The two horns on either side representing males, the female shape in the middle. It's a perversion of the divine Trinity. And it has been adopted officially by the Catholic Church, at least I would say so. Now, who defeats Hathor, the cow goddess, and Ra, the sun god? And why doesn't the Catholic Church adopt a beautiful image like Our Lady of Guadalupe? Notice that Mary is standing on those same two horns. She is crushing the serpent. Notice that she is blocking out the sun. Our Lady of Guadalupe is the one who will defeat these ugly sexual and satanic images coming out of the Catholic Church. And I urge Catholics to disavow the images which Pope Francis is promoting and which I'm sure the Youth Synod will be promoting, and adopt instead the true cross, which is a simple cross, and adopt Our Lady of Guadalupe. Those are beautiful images. And before closing, I want to thank two people who have donated very generously to my ministry. Rhonda from Hawaii, just this past week. Thank you very much, Rhonda. And Hyung Kyu from South Korea. I hope I pronounced your name correctly. Hyung Kyu. And you are also very generous. Thank you so much. And if any of you would like to help in my ministry, you can click on the PayPal button, either on my YouTube channel or on my thirdeaglemedia.com website.